Well, it's always kind of fun having your own walking trails or golf cart trail, whatever kind of trail you want to call it. One of the best parts of country living, if you ask me. If you have a little bit of land, carve yourself a couple of trails through, kind of eye it up and figure out where you want them. You know, you basically poke one through anywhere, just come up in there and pluck off a few of your side branches and start mowing. Plan on wrecking a set of lawnmower blades to begin with, but a little bit of routine maintenance needed. Come on here and snip that branch. A lot of times about once a year will come through, or every other year, you know, take off all these little nubs, but that's the way this one was. Cut them off nice and they heal up good. Keep everybody happy. The cat likes to come out and take a walk out here too. A lot of routine maintenance, like I said. This is a red oak tree. Really limping along, been smothered out with grapevines. Kind of an every year thing. On some of the good trees. Look at how bad these grapevines really get up in here and smother it all, but weeds of the woods. They're vicious. Look at how thick these grapevines get. Nothing new, I'm sure. But just a matter of identifying what you want to keep. You almost have to put in a little bit of effort toward it, and otherwise it gets choked out, killed out. This is a spot where these are all nice bur oak trees right here. But I decided these three here were ash, but they're starting to kind of choke out the oak. They hadn't had the ash borer yet, but a lot of the ash trees around here are dying anyway. So between that and, like you say, these bur oak, nice hardwood logs. So try and keep them going good. So I come out here at least once a year, you know, these vines that get up in there so bad. Don't do it, and they pretty much end up choking them out all together, and then those faster growing softwood trees that take over instead of the hardwoods. Red oak here, really trying to compete with the three softwood trees coming right in on it. But between the grapevines, pulled them all out of here last year or so, but that's also kind of what gives it a funky shape. But I will probably come in, take down those three ash behind. This is a pretty good example here. Try and get in and identify what you have going. This back here is plum, wild plum. Does look a lot like the buckthorn, but part of how I know is because I've eaten plums off of these trees, and a lot of the buckthorns still have the small berries. The bark is a little bit different. Then over here, see this one, kind of a junk tree. I'm not sure if it's a box elder or ash. Then right here we have an oak, bur oak, getting kind of smothered out with vines. And get the vines off like that and cut down the junk trees around it. And next thing you know, you get a big one like that in about 150 years. This is one of the areas I haven't really done much. These plums are kind of nice to harvest a little bit of fruit, but they're also fairly invasive. Not quite as bad as the buckthorn, but pretty bad. But in any event, these trails are kind of what we're talking about here. And believe it or not, this trail I actually had, when I got this place, it was all pasture out here, so there was only big trees only. I started mowing this path before any of the small trees came up. So a little easier to actually have it in that way. find your path and start mowing it. But you keep mowing, and if it does come time to take down a tree, some of these smaller trees on the edge, just cut them right off, and then cut it off at ground level or a little lower to where you can mow over it and quick and easy. Just sitting there trying to dig out the stump or grind it out. Cut it low and mow over it. Well, like I say, there's kind of some maintenance you could do, but some of it here and there you push to the side. Plus the woodpeckers need something to eat. Pretty dry around here now. A lot of times this time of year this pond will be full, overflowing. Never know what might happen. A couple, 2-3 weeks time. This area is all plum trees here too, but it's turned into kind of a neat area. It takes a fair amount of trimming here and there, as you can see, but it's kind of been a tunnel, plum tunnel. I guess these trees have a basic life expectancy too. Must be. See, a lot of these are already pushing 20 years old, but they kind of fall over. But take it as it comes. They also end up pretty cool shapes. Between the grapevines competing with them and forcing them into different shapes. Natural bonsai. Bonsai, more to do with how it's trimmed than the actual variety of plant, I guess. Over here is an area I've been kind of tending to. Between some of the natural. This one here is a red oak. Easy to tell this time of year because the leaves, a lot of the leaves are still on until, well, they're finally starting to shed the last of them. But and the hickory here. I also planted 100 walnut trees down here several years ago. Here's one of them. But they're getting pretty smothered out to begin with. I've started trimming them a little bit. Try and turn into more of a straight tree. See the rows of them here. 3 walnut. Back there a few, but straight tree or a possible crop tree, as they call it. $100 walnut, 401 W. Yeah, they've taken on a lot of crazy shapes based on the grapevines smothering them out, but been kind of interesting though. I do a little bit of trimming between the trimming and get the grapevines out of them. They've been starting to straighten out. Let them have cut them down to where they have one main lead instead of competing with itself. That actually kind of seems to help too. So yeah, I have my one main trail here I keep groomed up, and then some of this off stuff I'll just tackle it once a year or so. In the next battle, if you actually do grow the tree up big enough to where the vines aren't getting it, and then there's buck damage. The old deer like rubbing their antlers on there, but no big deal. Kind of fun though. Come out, walk around, hit the path, walk the path, do maintenance on the path. This kind of a stand of, it's more like swamp willow or something back here. Mess around a little bit and make a hunting shack or bird watching shack. Weave the plants together. As seen on other YouTube channels, they do a much neater job than that though. Well, there's the old trail maintenance tour. Weeds of the woods.